Hey, hello, how are you today? Hope your day's been great. How are you feeling? What are you thinking today? Are you monitoring your thoughts? Are you checking in with your body? And are you playing small? That's what we're going to talk about today, playing small. How many times have you dimmed your light over the years to please somebody else? Oh my God, I've done that so many times. Are you a people pleaser? Do you say yes when you want to say no? That was me millions of times. Maybe not millions of times, but many times. We don't even know we're doing it half the time either. So I wanted to touch on that a little bit. I'll try to keep it a little short today. My name is Samantha. First of all, if you're new here, my name is Samantha, and I am a licensed clinical social worker / therapist. And I started this channel for the purpose of helping me get over my fear of public speaking and social anxiety. And so this is really helping me. So thank you all for watching. And so I'm doing a video every day, which means today is video 72 of 365, and which means we have 293 more to go. I did the math, so I wouldn't have to break out the calculator. But yeah, we're almost there. So it's pretty cool to do this. So I love to just speak on things that I think will help people in different ways. And sometimes I try to get a little hooky so that people will kind of come and be able to see the video. Because sometimes the titles, I have to title them correctly so that they get seen by the algorithm. It's a whole thing. So I'm also learning about that while getting comfortable on camera, while kind of trying to figure out what value I want to give that day. So it's a really cool little, experience I'm having with all this. I'm super excited to see what happens over the next, 10 months. So thank you for being here with me. I appreciate it. And so get relaxed for a few minutes, take a breath. And if you're having a bad day or struggling today, let's try to flip that around for you a little bit. And I want this channel to be a place where you can come and feel safe and drop whatever mask you might be wearing that day, because I think we wear a lot of masks around a lot of different people. So I wanted to know, where you're feeling small or where you're staying small, and what are you staying in that you might have outgrown, but you can't say no to it anymore. Could be a job, it could be a relationship, it could be a friendship, or even your own family. So, and there's a lot of things about our childhood that program us. So, and this is a passion of mine, is to show people how their childhood is attached to the way that they think today. A lot of people don't know that. And I thought everyone knew that. I just thought, I guess everybody doesn't know that. I guess that's really not common sense. And so I want to make it be common sense for people. And the thing about it is, everything that you go through as a child, you're being programmed in some way. So you don't know you're being programmed, and you don't know that your brain is connecting, dad working during the week and being out of town all week, and then he comes home on the weekend. You're not connecting that as, I feel abandoned, or I don't feel good enough because my dad isn't choosing me, he's choosing work. There's a good example of how a little mind can wire itself that way. And you can be the best parent in the world and say the best things and all this stuff, but that individual little soul just interprets the world from their own perspective and their own perception. So we carry those neural pathways on into our adult life. And, a neural pathway is where neurons fire and wire together, and then they just kind of continue down a pathway in a network in your brain. And so we kind of have that in our childhood. If you have abuse, like, I had abuse and neglect. And if you watch your parents being abused by someone, or by your parent being abused by the other parent, domestic violence, actually, I learned in grad school that it was the most traumatic thing was for a child to see their parent being abused. So that had the most negative effect on a child. So I'm really passionate about talking about this stuff because obviously, since I'm a therapist, I talk about this stuff all the time. But I don't like to stay in the past too much, but I like to connect the past to now, because if you're trying to manifest some things and you're trying to manifest from trauma, it's not going to be easy, and you're going to feel exhausted. You're going to feel burnt out. You're already feeling burnt out and exhausted and struggling anyway. So that's why I say form a good foundation first, and then a good self-concept and concept of self. And then from there, you can be in a healthier place where you feel better, and not from like this toxicity that's been in you from other people. So we've got to let that old story go. And we all have a story. So I encourage you to look at your story. Where are the leaks in your ship? Because your ship is going to sink, or at least it's going to like float haphazardly along the river. It's just going to be out there kind of teetering. You know, you never know when it's going to sink, but it's got some leaks in it, and you see some water coming up through the cracks. So you got to look at your life like that. You know, where are your leaks? Where are your energy leaks? What are you internalizing that you should be externalizing and letting go of, basically? What are you holding on to that you could let go of that is affecting you still to this day that happened 30 years ago? That's something really big to think about. And as Neville Goddard says, occupy a state. Once you've occupied that state fully, and you decide who you want to become, who your new identity is. You've got your identity 1 and identity 2, your old life, your new life, your old self, your new self. If you want to be that new self, we cannot carry that old stuff with us into the new life, because it's like some clouds that are just kind of following you. It's in your, and you got a backpack full of all this stuff too. So it's like, it could rain at any moment, a tornado could drop at any moment. And that's kind of the way that trauma just kind of lives with us. And I like to call trauma, I don't like that word, but we have to use it. But I like to call it a life switch. It kind of just flipped a switch in you, and it kind of just turned you a different way. And so we got to flip that switch a different way and start living from that. And the thing about trauma is it changes us. It makes us stronger in so many ways. It helps navigate different things in life. Also, we develop these survival strategies. You know, however you survived as a child, and those seemingly maladaptive coping skills that we learned as a child, they were there to save us, to save our lives. They helped us survive what we were dealing with, whatever dysfunction it was. So, but when you take that same brain and that same mindset into your adult relationships, and when you're trying to manifest the old SP, as they call it, the specific person, that SP, that's the hardest. That's probably the most, I think it's like one of the most searched video types on YouTube. But I enjoy talking about the SP stuff, because the divorce rates are so high, and I've been through a divorce. I know what it feels like, and that's my goal for people, is to prevent divorce and teach people how to love themselves first and form that foundation, because you don't need to suffer in a relationship. A relationship should be super fun, but the purpose of a relationship is to make us more of who we are. It's to kind of sometimes mess with each other to make each other grow. And so I think relationships are so important, and they can be amazing, and they can be the opposite of amazing. So you got to realize that you're creating people, the way that they interact with you. You're perceiving them. You're creating a version of them, because you're a version of you. And whatever version that is, you're going to identify with that person in that way. So you have to watch what you're thinking and what you're believing about yourself and that other person. And sometimes we just have to decide. This was big for me today. I thought, all we have to do is decide. It's just a decision to make. We just have to decide. My partner once, he said, I just decided not to be ticklish anymore, and I'm not ticklish. And it's just something like that. Like, you just decide. And how simple does that sound, But it's really not that simple, because we make it hard, because we like drama. As humans, we like drama. We do. If we didn't have some sort of drama, we'd be bored, right? And that's the belief that we have. So you got to switch that belief. If you don't like drama, you got to switch that belief that maybe you're feeling bored in life, so you seek out a dramatic partner. Or maybe as a child, you had chaos in your home, and so you gravitate towards chaos with someone. Even though you might feel at peace, you still need that little bit of chaos to kind of get you lit up a little bit inside and feel like, it's almost like you feel like you have to earn love, or there's just some belief there from childhood that we hold on to. So really get in there and get in the workshop of your mind and look at yourself as this is a workshop, and I'm going to discover more of who I am through this type of work, and look for patterns. Because if you've been dating and marrying the same type of person, let's say your dad was an alcoholic and you've married 3 alcoholics since, well, that's a pattern. So what are you willing to accept? Because we are subconsciously, not consciously, of course, programmed to be to enjoy the familiar. Not enjoy, but we're used to the familiar. It's comfortable for us. So whatever feels familiar, you will take into your relationships. I had a pattern of doing that too. I saw the pattern. It's actually very easy to see. But I think a lot of people play really small. They feel like they don't deserve better than they have, and they don't feel like they can ask for more. And again, once you occupy a different identity, everything just starts coming to you, and you never know what that could be if you stay in the state, and the state is where you create from. So that starts with dropping the old story. Just deny it. It's not there. This isn't real. I say this isn't real, or I'll say I'm just imagining all this. So let's start imagining something different. That really helps me out a lot when I'm having those moments. Those moments, we all have them. We're not perfect. Nobody's perfect at this. Nobody has all the answers. But I will say, after a few $100,000 I spent over the years on education and workshops and books and every course you can imagine, all kinds of stuff, and all the thousands of hours I've spent researching and practicing on myself and with clients and with anybody that wants to learn, this seems to be the best way to feel better. I think it's better than therapy. I really do. Of course, with how I do therapy, I kind of integrate therapeutic modalities in with a little bit of this stuff, where it fits. It doesn't always fit in very well. But I think there's something cool about noticing that you're imagining something all day long. So you might as well deliberately start imagining. Why not? And just see what happens. You never know what could happen. And change the way you're speaking to yourself. You deserve the best. You deserve to speak to yourself nicely all the time. If you notice you're looking at, say you don't like your hands, or you don't like your feet, and every time you look at them, you're like, ugh, I can't stand my hands or my feet, or they're too bony, or whatever your thoughts are. Say, no, I'm beautiful. I'm handsome. I love my feet. I love my hands. They're beautiful because I'm a human. You just kind of take it general. I'm a human. I'm beautiful. Everyone's perfect as a human. Just start programming that in. Nobody told you this stuff as a child, I'm sure. Some people probably got some good, solid positivity given to them. And throughout life, not everybody doesn't just have everyone talking down on them, but the one person that talks the worst to you is you. So you deserve the best. And with that, you've got to let go of the old story, because you don't deserve to even think about that anymore. It's like chewed up old bubble gum. It's lost its flavor, and it's manifested, and you don't need to even look at it anymore. It's there to generate a feeling, and the feeling guides you. And then you start visualizing if you want to. A visualization is more like a symbol. So you come up with a visualization of something that you want, or somebody that you want to become, the version of you that you want to become. And you visualize this, and it becomes like a template, a guide, just a symbol of this thing generates this feeling. So this thing generates security, the feeling of security, or this thing generates the feeling of love, or whatever. And the visualization is supposed to give you a sense of excitement and passion. That's the whole point of it. The higher mind will take over. So if you don't insist on something happening a certain way, which I recommend not insisting, you just create a scene that gets you real excited, and it's you living from the end of that. So whatever you want, visualize already having it. Maybe if you want to be married, you visualize 6 months down the road and you're buying a house together or something, and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we've been married 6 months. This is awesome. Or whatever you're saying. And that is just something to get you generated with a feeling of excitement or passion or love or whatever you want. And then do not insist on the outcome and let the higher mind take over, because the human mind cannot think. It has more limits on it, let's say, than the higher mind. The higher mind has zero limits. You never know what you can create outside of what you're imagining right now. It's just amazing. So you generate the feeling. That's all you have to do. Just generate this feeling, because you're already generating feelings from imagining all day anyway. You might as well do it deliberately. So have fun with it and enjoy, and notice where in your past, I could go on and on about this, and maybe someday we'll do like a workshop on this or something, how you connect your past to your present and what beliefs you might have that we need to let go of. Sometimes coaching is helpful for that type of thing, like the one-on-one, which I do offer that if anyone's ever interested. It's in the link below, I think. It's in the description. I think I put it there. Yeah, it's there. So if you're ever interested and need extra help identifying what the thoughts are, it's not therapy, it's coaching for sure. I don't do therapy, only in my state, but definitely check it out if you're interested. And it sometimes helps to see what your blind spots are, because sometimes we aren't very aware of that. So, but connect those old those old feelings that you might have from back then into what's happening today. If you're having a problem with someone, really dig into that and say, okay, what are they mirroring back to me or if they did something, what feeling does that make me feel? Or what thought does that make me feel? Does it make me feel not good enough, invisible? What is it? And I know a few times I felt invisible, which as a child I felt invisible, or I didn't feel chosen. As a child, I didn't feel chosen. So there's a lot of just bad wiring. So we've got to rip out that old wiring and we got to put new wiring in to make it pretty. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to make your mind pretty today. So we're going to start with, first of all, start with breathing. I would start with breath work, actually. Start taking some deep breaths. Get your nervous system kind of calmed down before you visualize. It'll really help a lot. It'll just be more enjoyable, I feel, when you're more relaxed. And take some deep breaths and just do some, just be still, basically. Be still. And remember that when you say, I am, whatever follows I am is what you're believing. So stop saying, I am broke, I am unhealthy. That's another thing. I am sick, or I have this disease. Like, identify with something else. Decide to do that. See what happens. Become your own experiment and your own evidence. What if I did this for a period of time and I see how I feel? And that's it. That's your experiment. Just see how you feel. Maybe that's the only thing that you need to do, is see if this actually changes the state you're in, the mental state. And just have fun and watch what happens around you. But the real manifestation is what you start to feel inside. Because it's pretty amazing when you start to feel better and nothing changed externally. That's the kicker. It's like once you change internally, you don't even really care about the other stuff. It's like, oh, okay, cool. There's that money. That's awesome. Wow. But it isn't that big of a deal because you already felt good. And that's what I want to get that out to everybody. So if this message is helpful to you and you think it might be helpful to someone else, please send it to them and show them, because this is, I feel, priceless information that can make anybody a millionaire, can make anybody stay married for their whole marriage and not worry about a divorce. It's so many things. It's worth a lot. So it just takes practice and a belief in something that maybe you've never believed in before, because we're taught to not believe stuff like this. We're taught to believe what society is saying and what we see out there. And it's like, no, we have to change internally first. And then you're seeing from that frequency. and that wavelength. You cannot see what's on channel 6 when you're watching channel 2. You know channel 6 is happening, but you're tuned into channel 2, so you can't possibly see what's on 6 unless you have 2 TVs. Now that would be a whole different conversation. I don't know what that would be like. We'll have to think about that one. But same with radios, I guess. But if you're tuned to 92.1 and you want to listen to 104.5, you got to switch that dial around to that and become 104.5. So think about your mind like that. And I'll let you go. I'm rambling. So I'll talk to you tomorrow. I'll be back. And like, share, subscribe. And if you'd like to, if you don't, that's fine. I won't. I'll still love you. So I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.